having to hurdle another tackle. And now McClare, he's into the centre much more than in the second half. You know, he's moved in from the right-hand side, Brian McClare, and he's having some good play and some good touches. This is Wallace. Webb. Lee Martin from left back, an inspired run on the far side. A chance here, and a goal!
Great night for any player to score in a cup final. Doesn't matter who you are, I mean, absolutely brilliant.
So Brian Robson goes up to receive the most famous trophy in football for a record third time.
People have criticised us all the way through the season about our league performances and that, and you know, it's nice for the lads to come to the end of the season and actually win something.
Manchester United equal the record of Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur. They win the FA Cup for the 7th time.
Well, I think winning trophies is something we always want to this club, and hopefully it'll be a springboard now. But the players have showed character all right through the cup. And obviously they've used it as a springboard and can look back on their achievements of this season in the cup. It's been marvellous for them.
It started in Nottingham in January. Manchester United came to play Forest with a board that had barely survived a takeover bid and a manager, so rumour said, who might not survive. The team hadn't won for 7 weeks. They'd taken 4 league points from their last 8 games. Brian Clough had equal reason to feel the tension of this third-round tie. The FA Cup is a trophy he'd never won. His team was still learning to live without Neil Webb, sold to Manchester United for £1.5 million in the summer. Only 4 wins in 10 home league games was not Forest's usual form. But serious injury kept Webb from United's ranks too, and now Brian Robson was out of action. Alex Ferguson turned to his youngsters. Russell Beardsmore was in midfield, Mark Robins up front in partnership with Mark Hughes.
One by Pearce, Pallister, Hughes, nice knee trap again, or thigh trap. Made himself some space too well. Challenged by Walker. This is Parker, the man whose goal decided the quarter-final between these two last season. Beardsmore taking over the number 7 for the injured Brian Robson. Hughes. Martin. It's a bit loose. And that's a fine save. Robins took it very swiftly. Forest at 6s and 7s for a moment. It was a good turn, not the best of challenges, but a very good save by Steve Sutton. 10 minutes of the second half gone, and just signs that the teams are loosening their own personal chains. Phelan. To be a bit more room around the pitch. Parker. The quality of passing has to improve if a victory is to be gained. This is Crosby. Great challenge by Pallister. Crosby was looking for the challenge from behind, but the ball was cleanly won. Chase for Robins. He's a calm lad, is Steve Sutton. Orlickson, kept in by Martin. Hughes, he's got a lot of room. And here's Robins, and did it get the deflection? Was it Robins or Pearce? But Robins for sure will claim it. Well kept in here by Martin. Hughes had more room than probably at any stage in the match. Just played it in. Robins was unmarked. Pearce tried to come in on the far side. Definitely the goal scored by Robins. The challenge was slightly from behind by Pearce. And really, Forest were totally asleep. Hughes was given room, and Robbins, the scorer, was not marked. Manchester United have a 1-0 lead. Martin. Hughes. Into the gap again for Robbins. Not quite as well as the previous occasion, and the goal came. Clough. It's more like his control. And that's Hodge. And this is Crosby. They were playing the offside, and he wasn't. Good save, Jemson. Still well in play. Olixon. It's a poor cross, really. Jemson! Well, they survive. Pierce. Jemson! Agonisingly across the face of the goal from Forest's point of view. Happily from Jim Leighton's and United's. It was a precise pass. And the gambler makes the last throw of the dice. Terry Wilson being brought on by Brian Clough. 3 minutes left. Well, two of the matches this afternoon have ended 1-1. Leighton, Jemson, and maybe this one will too. No, the referee is going to disallow it, but he's certainly being surrounded by United players, and a free kick has been given.
Well, as a cross come in, it looked as if it's hanging in the air. Jim Leighton comes out. I think he should have caught it, really. He's punched it up in the air, and I'm very doubtful of why it's been given, in fact. But it could only be offside rather than infringement.
The Shapter looks at his watch, but plays on. Hughes. Crosby. United are through. Some joy at last for Alec Ferguson.
There would be more from Mark Robbins before the season was out. Meanwhile, that same weekend, Crystal Palace beat Portsmouth thanks to a penalty in the 89th minute.
Radford again. Oh, what a goal! What a goal!
Since Ronnie Radford's famous goal against Newcastle, cattle rather than football had kept Herefordshire solvent. Now, for the struggling 4th Division club, a full house for a 4th round tie against Alex Ferguson's All-Stars was manna from Lancaster Gate. The league table showed that victory over Nottingham Forest had done nothing for United. Home and away defeats had dropped them 2 more places.
I'm sure United's policy will be to try and contain and then impose themselves on the match. It was easy again for Hemming, and it's Tester on a chase with Anderson. Tester gets the ball into the area. Oh, it's just wide. Just wide of the post by Narbert. And United's goal was under real pressure then. Hughes. Oh, stepped around Hemming and he kept it in play. This is the first time they've got around Chris Hemming. McClare to Hughes. United's best moment. Left foot from Mark Hughes, but it was always curling away from that far post. And maybe the key to this match was there, because it's the first time that Mark Hughes has managed to get around Hereford's number 4, Chris Hemming. McClare battling back to his striking partner, who never quite had it right. And as Martin takes this free kick, we approach 20 minutes gone in the first half. Anderson forward, Hughes! Oh, keeper made a good save, Elliott. Tony Elliott, he's only 20 years of age. And close friend of United substitute Mark Robbins. They were together in the first FA School of Excellence at Lilleshall. showed his worth there with a good save from Mark Hughes. Well, it's getting to the desperate end now. Anybody concedes a goal in these last few minutes, there's hardly time to get back upfield and try and look for an equaliser. Anderson. Hemming. Hughes. Again, a lovely turn by the Welsh international. Oh, it's Duxbury, the captain. Is he going to do the captain's job? He is. Clayton Blackmore. And in the end, it looked easy. But what an important contribution by Mike Duxbury. He hasn't played from the start of a game since October. And Elliott beaten. And there is hardly time. Well, 5 minutes left. What a smile lighting up the face of an old campaigner, Mike Duxbury.
Alex Ferguson was surviving round by round. Down at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace were also through, 4-0 winners over Huddersfield. United were away again in round 5 at Newcastle, where the number 9s live in legend, from Gallagher to MacDonald to Quinn. Idols all to a fan club as passionate and loyal as Manchester United's own.
I think Newcastle will win.
Really? What do you think the score will be?
4-0.
4-0? And who's going to score the goals?
Quinn will get 3 and Mark McGee will get 1.
And who'll get the goals then?
Vicky Quinn, Mark McGee.
You don't give Man United a chance?
Right. I've seen them at Wembley 3 times and we live in Birmingham.
It's just great to be in the cup, you know, and you know, my brother's really pleased that he's going to be there. He said to me that he's going to hit a couple of goals in for me and a goal in for the rest of the lads, you know, so aye, it's just going to be a great cup day.
Who's your brother?
Mickey Quinn.
We've got Mark McGee and Mickey Quinn, top goal scorers, 40 goals between the two of them this season, and I think we'll go all the way to Wembley.
St James's Park, with its towering new stands, was full to capacity. Nearly 32,000 in the ground, joined by a nationwide television audience of more than 8 million. After Nottingham Forest's thoughtful football and Hereford's narrow confines, this was a different test again. 8 days earlier, the Reds had won at Millwall, but their position had improved only marginally, 3 points clear of a relegation place. Newcastle's reputation in the second division was based on attacking football, the power of Quinn and McGee. Brian Robson was still absent from the Manchester side, but Steve Bruce was back to play beside Pallister and to captain the team. Like Geordie himself, Bruce needed no extra motivation.
Nice ball from Bruce. Martin. Duxbury. Hughes! Good stop. Struck it well, Mark Hughes, and smile on the face of John Burridge. Every goalkeeper's pleased when he's made the first decent stop of the contest, and that was a very good one, right on his 6-yard line. Good chest by Duxbury. There's a bit of holding by Dillon, but the referee plays the advantage again. It doesn't accrue. One of the bigger Union Jacks there in the crowd. On the far side they're enjoying quite bright sunshine. This is McGee. Bruce's tackle again. Well played indeed.
It's the second timely interception he's done on McGee. McGee, as you see, not afraid to take people on, but at the moment Stevie Bruce coped very well.
Free kick was almost inevitable. Defender on Hughes was Kevin Dillon. Martin. Robbins, another good ball to Phelan. And Brock sorts it out and gives it away. Phelan. Slightly corner is given. I say curious, there was double cover then on Wallace, except the second man covering wasn't covering behind the first man. That has just come up to the near post. Henderson just on the edge of the 6-yard area. And they all miss it except Robbins. It's in. Robbins has done it again. The goal in the 20th minute. Mark Robbins, second in the FA Cup. Burridge missed it. Wasn't truly struck by Robbins. He just nodded it down, which I think pulled Sweeney on the line. But the referee was well placed and immediately pointed for goal.
Well, amazing. Mark Robbins, one of the smallest players on the pitch, just as against Nottingham Forest, he gets a header. And if you actually see it, right from the corner kick, he was unmarked on the edge of the 6-yard box, never got picked up. John Burridge didn't come from the cross, and he actually misheaded it, but it went in off the post, and United are ahead.
Duxbury made it his. Looking for Hughes. And the punch-out comes to Wallace. Still Wallace. Robbins, and it's blocked. And an escape for Burridge. Wallace waited a long time with the bounce. And Burridge had the fortune in the end.
Well, Danny Wallace there. Bit disappointed. Shot comes saved, didn't result in a second goal. John Burridge, not the tallest of goalkeepers, when he comes for those type of crosses, tends to punch them rather than some taller keepers would catch them. But then he made up for it with a great reaction save from Robbins.
McGee is offside. And it was Mark Robbins who had the last Manchester United touch in that move. See Wallace there waiting for the right bounce. I'm sure he thought a couple of times about the right foot shot. Then he took on his man well. Blocked on the line, and it needed the defender to save the day. Darren Bradshaw certainly helping out John Burridge. Here's Wallace again. Again he delayed, it seemed to me, with a possible shot.
There's a free kick there to Newcastle. Again, the critics of Mark Hughes would say, well, that was unnecessary. The defender's just going to clear the ball. He's not really going to get a chance of actually intercepting it, and he goes in late and gives away an unnecessary free kick. And I think if it's sometimes he concentrated on just playing football rather than getting involved in a physical battle, he'd be that much better.
No foul, says Mr. Vickers. Here's Mark McGee. Aitken has gone outside. McGee, penalty! Bruce bringing down McGee. No doubt about it at all. McGee took them on. Aitken had formed the extra man outside, wasn't needed, and Bruce brings down Mark McGee. And Newcastle had the chance from the penalty spot. Down to Jim Leighton. When the wind abates sufficiently for the ball to be put on the spot, it's going to be McGee himself who will take it. Looking for his 17th goal of the season. Which will really lift the noise around St James's Park. It does. Into the roof, with Leighton going the other way. Good penalty. By Bradshaw. Anderson. McClare. Stimson for company. Wallace! Yes! Oh, what a finish! What a finish! Right on the hour. Marvellous strike by the little fella. McClare did well. Had Stimson Anderson on the wrong foot. But it was made by a superb finish. Just a little dart to the right. And my heaven, he thumped it. Angle was tight, but he found it.
They're wrong foots. Simpson well, drives in the cross, one touch, little touch with the left, and doesn't worry about picking his spot. He knows from a few yards out, if he blasts it, the chances are it's going to go in, and John Burridge, just as well for him, didn't get in the way.
What a contrast now. 1 minute, one end, the celebration, then the other. Who will have the last laugh? Quinn. Made by Bruce. Dillon. Dillon again. Rock. Gets to Ranson eventually. Two to find, but he'll wait for the corner. McGee and Quinn on the goal line. Roy Aitken hovering around the penalty spot. And he's down, and the ball is in. Kevin Scott. Leighton came for it. Oh, he certainly was caught. And Kevin Scott with the header. Jim Leighton, unlucky there for me. And the header came off Viv Anderson from Kevin Scott. Look at Quinn, he looks for him, there's no doubt about that, he looks for him. Clear foul. And Scott came in. Anderson is already appealing instead of going for the ball, which I suppose you have to say is an error on the part of an international defender. But even so, Manchester United extremely unlucky. Even, says the referee. This is Phelan. Possibilities here with Wallace, man outside, but he couldn't turn to make the pass because Ray Ranson denied him. Dillon. Sweeney on the touchline. Big two down the middle. McGee comes away. Quinn and Bruce. McGee. Brock waiting. Quinn. Almost given it by Duxbury. Nice turn.
Well, Manchester United have allowed themselves to get rattled. They got angry at the decision, and here just turned in. Nicky Quinn, big lad, but does very well here, really. Just turns, makes half a shooting chance. Just shows you don't have to go past defenders to give yourself a shooting opportunity.
Well won by Scott. Ince has taken the same position on the pitch as Duxbury held. Ince looking for Wallace and may have found him. Little touch, McClare! At last McClare scores. 17 games without a goal. He's chosen a very good moment to end the drought. It was Ince though who played the telling ball. A little bit of push and shove there between Wallace and Bradshaw. Turn and on came McClare, and Manchester United lead 3-2. By no means the best strike of the ball that McClare has ever made, but it could be priceless.
Those £5,000 worth of ball from Paul Ince there. Danny Wallace very unselfish, and as you say, Brian McClare just knocking it towards goal rather than picking his spot. Very relieved, and again the game switches round. 3-2.
Playing the time that Mr. Vickers has allowed for stoppages, including a long talk to Viv Anderson. This is Ince, that's a good ball. And a good save from Ince. Manchester now supporters encouraging Mr. Vickers to blow the final whistle. Not a good pass from Quinn to Aitken. Beardsmore. John Burridge starts to bring it forward. He's got to find the right ball. Comes off Bruce. Anderson's long legs get there. McClare brings it away. Gives it away. Stimson. McGee coming in. Good punch again. It's McGee who goes down. Fine piece of goalkeeping. Jim Smith on his feet. Quinn battles for it. Pallister. Handball. Good save. Field for handball. I think it may well have been given. McGee is prostrate in the area. Some finish this.
I think in fact it was Mickey Quinn, another off-the-ball incident, was trying to nudge Stevie Bruce out the way. There's the two managers. Good to see, isn't it, after a cup tie like that, having a laugh at the end.
Manchester United have, for the third round running, won away from home, and generous applause at the Gallowgate end. Brian McClare, without a goal for 17 matches, scores the winner. Best goal certainly scored by Danny Wallace. Newcastle United twice coming back, the second time questionably, the first time no question about the penalty. And after a first half that perhaps left much to be desired, surely the second half was fulfilling.
When the sixth round draw followed, Crystal Palace were there by virtue of a single goal against Rochdale. They were matched with Cambridge. As for Manchester United...
Number 7. Sheffield United or Barnsley. Number 2. Versus Manchester United.
Well, two of the goal scorers here. Now, what about that draw?
I'm very happy with it. It's away again, so we're very pleased, yeah.
Always on the road, Brian.
Well, as Danny said, we've won 3 on the road on a Sunday now. I think we'll get it changed this Sunday. Seems to be our day.
Well, now let's have a look back at your goals. Danny, yours I thought really was a bit special.
Yeah, well, I saw Brian McClare he's struggling on his left foot, so I thought I'd come to the near post. And my first touch was quite well. Dragged it along and a shot, and it's went over budgie. Very pleased with it. Yeah, very pleased with it.
And Brian, he then did you a favour for your goal?
Well, it's the first pass he's given me all season. Paul Ince came on and played a beautiful ball through. Danny again shrugged off the big defender. And well, I've scored a few more spectacular goals, but it was most welcome.
You've been struggling a bit for goals this season.
Yeah, exactly, that's right, but it was well worth waiting for as far as I'm concerned.
Are you beginning to feel that in spite of all the problems, maybe your name is on the cup this season?
Well, I hope so. I mean, we've been playing well in the cup, so if we carry on as we have been, we'll do all right.
St James's Park had seen a cup tie in the style it liked best. Commitment, incident, and still a smile from Jim Smith, seeing his team beaten by the club where he'd begun his own playing career. Old Trafford still stood empty on FA Cup weekends. Before the sixth round, however, it applauded a 4-1 defeat of Luton Town, an important victory in the context of the dogfight at the uncomfortable end of the First Division. In the Cup, with Steve Bruce deputising as captain, Manchester United faced a typical Sheffield United bombardment.
Garner near post, Dean at the far. And Booker coming in too, but Pallister was above the ball. Bruce's header, and then Ince, and now Wallace. Brave header by Gannon, and there may be some profit from it. Whitehouse, oh! It was asking for it, and Garner couldn't give it. Whitehouse did some good work here. He dummied the shot, then played it. And how much did Garner miss by? A couple of inches, not more. Hughes to Wallace. Oh, he's got a bit of room. Hill has gone to cover him. Bradshaw behind Hill. And Wallace has beaten them both with ease. And Tracy got down as McClare got a knee to the ball, it looked. But Wallace there just dismissed Hill and Bradshaw, gone. And now, as time to look, came off Booker, then off McClare, and Tracy smothered it. Forward by Hughes, and Robbins is onside. Can he pull it back? Corner. I thought it went out for a goal kick. So did Stancliffe, so did Tracy, and so did a lot of the Sheffield United fans behind that goal. Wallace. Good back header. Hughes. McClare. McClare against the bar, and then McClare on the rebound from the corner. And so they will be wanting to know, was that really a corner or was it a goal kick? Let's have a look at the goal itself. McClare's header, and then his left foot. And that's his third goal in 4 games. One 0 to Manchester United, and Brian McClare has clearly rediscovered his scoring touch. Nearly 200 goals in his career, he needs another 4. And we'll just have another look at this, and did the whole of the ball cross the line or not? Have to give the referee the benefit of the doubt. Wallace. Martin has gone ahead of him, and he's got 4 to his right, teasing Hill, and then the cross is played in, and McClare's attempted shot struck a defender, and looked for a moment as though it was going to bobble over Tracy. Wallace again. Away by Barnes, only as far as Duxbury. To the channel for McClare. Manchester United looking much the more positive side in the second half. McClare given a nice ball through the inside right channel. Swung at it, Tracy down. Pallister beaten that time by Dean. It's fallen for Agana, and again, and this time Leighton saves, but really Agana should have done better than that. Oh dear, it's agony. Steve Bruce. The final whistle. Manchester United have beaten Sheffield United by a first half goal from Brian McClare. They will be one of the last 4 in the FA Cup this season.
They were joined by Crystal Palace, winners at Cambridge, also by the only goal. Manchester United didn't forget the supporters who'd followed them across the Pennines. In a season of uncertainty in the league, the fans remained unshakably buoyant. Their contribution to the cup run was important, especially since it was now apparent that if the trophy was to be taken to Old Trafford, it would be by a most unusual route, with every tie before Wembley played away from home and on a Sunday. But Alex Ferguson wasn't willing to accept that success was somehow predestined.
No, I think that's a trap you can fall into. I think you've got to earn your right to win any cup, but I do think you need a little slice of luck. Any time I've won anything, that I've always looked back on an occasion where I said, well, with a wee bit of luck today, and I just hope we get some luck in the semi-final.
You certainly haven't had a home draw, have you?
Well, that can be cancelled out by the fact that it's maybe brought a bit of character out in the team. They've been forced to accept the responsibility of saying, right, we have to battle in places like Newcastle and today, and I think it's helped us in some ways.
Throughout the season, there'd been a stirring in the sloping streets of Oldham. Under the management of Joe Royle, the local team had acquired a shrewdly assembled side. Gradually, they saw more distant horizons than mere survival in the second division. Promotion, the Littlewoods Cup, the FA Cup. The only question was whether the Latics were chasing too many rainbows. Nevertheless, they rejoiced when the draw gave them Manchester United. No one more than Andy Ritchie. He'd suffered a few bruises along the way since being declared surplus to requirements at Old Trafford. Villa Park staged the other semi-final. Liverpool, chasing another double, versus Crystal Palace, managed by former Manchester United favourite Steve Coppell.
Thomas, and Bright's in there, and Thomas, Staunton, Gray, 3-3! Andy Gray for Palace, they're back in it! Thorne flicked it on, and it's gone in! Pardew! 4-3 Palace!
Palace were through while Sunday lunch was still on the table. Further up the M6, it was time for dessert. Main Road, the venue. Just across the city for Manchester United's huge Red Army. Just down the road for the growing band of royal admirers. And there remained the possibility that the two clubs could change places at the end of the season. Oldham had games in hand for promotion, and though United had just won 2 consecutive league games for the first time in 4.5 months, that hadn't completely blown away the relegation clouds that had lowered all season.
From the shadows into the sunshine. The reception from two bands of supporters separated only by 10 miles. Oldham in blue, Manchester United in red. Special welcome for Brian Robson. His last game was against Liverpool, in the first team that is, on December the 23rd. Since then, the groin and the hernia operation. So let's check on the two lineups. First of all, Oldham Athletic. In the end, the only change from a third consecutive league defeat at Leicester on Tuesday is in goal, where John Holworth reclaims the position from Andy Rhodes. For 22-year-old Earl Barrett, it's a return to the ground where his career began. For 29-year-old Andy Ritchie, a contest against the club for whom he was 13th man at Wembley 11 years ago. The Manchester United side, you know already that Robson and Webb are included. The man who stands down is Danny Wallace. It's a side apparently packed with midfield players because Brian McClare has been playing wide on the right. Here goes Andy Ritchie. And Holland trying to follow it through to get round behind Phelan, but a bit of a mess between Phelan and Jim Leighton, about which there were no words. And the first corner of the match is to the second division side. Holden will take it. Marshall on the near post. Holden again. Trying to change the angle. Oh, an awkward one, and Barrett! Earl Barrett, the scorer. What a mess for Manchester United. What a delight for Oldham Athletic. He just had to stand there and wave his foot. As the ball came across, Ritchie went for it. I must say he looks a bit offside in that position. But the goal is given. Oldham have the lead. Well played by Barlow. Mistake by Pallister, but he's able to recover. I would suggest that Oldham are winning about 90% of the 50-50 balls. Hughes. Bruce. And Robson! It's 1-1! He's done it again. Including a replay, that's 4 semi-finals running in which he scored. Beautifully played through. And Robson, Hallworth got a touch on it, but couldn't keep it out. Excellent first time ball. Hallworth may count himself a little unlucky, but Brian Robson has done it again.
Well, amazing, isn't he? There he is, a little smile. And really suddenly gets United back in a game that they were looking so edgy.
Good running on by Owen. Marshall is waiting, so is Holden. This is Marshall! This is Holden. Corner, says the referee. But they got caught out down their left flank then, Manchester United, because Owen just kept running. Suddenly found he was on his own with the ball in a fair amount of space. Ritchie in front of Leighton again. Marshall just further out. Good punch, but it comes straight to Henry. Off the line by Ince. And forget that I said good punch, because it wasn't. Under pressure from Ritchie, it was a pretty poor punch. And Leighton was fairly fortunate to get away with it. Henry denied by Paul Ince. Phelan did well. Hughes. McClare. Webb pulls away. It's coming out to Robson! And it got deflected for the corner. The United player is down. It's Brian Robson. And I think he just fell awkwardly as he came through. Webb did well here because he went one way, then pulled back, but just couldn't pull back enough. And they're all committed, the weight's all the wrong way. In comes Robson, 2 go to challenge him, and off 1, the ball went to the corner. Come to be away by Owen. And it's all square, with Earl Barrett opening the scoring in the 6th minute, and Brian Robson scoring the equaliser in the 29th. Redfern. I suppose, Trevor, normally one would say that the longer it goes on, the more experienced team would be fancied. But at the heart of that experienced Manchester United team, there were 2 players who haven't played very much first-team football.
Well, here's a problem with Webb and Robson, but you know, there's another man there as well, Colin Gibson, who only came back last month after 18 months out. I'm sure Danny Wallace will come on this half. It's just a case of which one of that trio will be the one to make way for him.
Here's Marshall, good save and a very good shot. Good cover by Bruce. Hit that very well indeed. Was just sufficiently far ahead for him to thump it, and it had some venom and was well knocked down. And the substitution looks as though it is going to be made. Wallace is going to come on, and Robson, the number 7 was shown then, is going to come off. Brian Robson hands the captain's band to Steve Bruce and comes off to a tremendous ovation. Given his all, scored the equaliser. But in the end, was clearly running out of steam. Here's Ince. We need even more from Paul Ince, who's been the pick of the midfield, I think. Wallace hopeful of a first touch. New challenge for Barlow as an out-and-out winger, if that's the way he's being asked to play. First round to Barlow. Phelan. Slightly stubbed it, but it comes to Gibson. And it's Webb. There was a little hesitation, and Webb is engulfed. Came across to Gibson, it was slightly mishit, I think, but the early header in, and it was Webb. It came more off his forehead, the ball hitting that rather than the reverse. He was turning with a goalkeeper who decided to come late, and Manchester United have the lead. Neil Webb is their scorer. Goal in the 73rd minute, his second of the season. Will it take Manchester United to Wembley? And Alec Ferguson with his arm round his skipper. Could be useful. Redfern needed Bruce to play it. The new skipper demanding concentration. Owen. Redfern got away. It's a good cross. Marshall! What an unbelievable day this is. It was a good cross. Redfern got away from Ince. It was half clear, but only to Marshall, who thumped it into the far bottom corner. And it's 2-2. Really did well then, Redfern. And so did Marshall. 2 goals inside 3 minutes. Barlow. Holden stays on the touchline. Play it to my feet. Marshall. Up comes Owen. 4 blue-shirted players in the area, now 5, now 6. Redfern. Ayrton Hughes. Wallace. Webb. Good block. Hughes hit Barrett. Ritchie. And Marshall is offside. Goodness me, John Hallworth did awfully well then. Parry down, shot from Hughes, hit Barrett. And suddenly Oldham were breaking, and at the end of it, Marshall was offside. Referee looks over at his 2 linesmen, who have signalled that 90 minutes is up. Played Ritchie. Play on, says the referee, but Ritchie is hurt. Ince with the header. Still play goes on. And here's Danny Wallace, but the whistle now has gone for the second time in the day. We have extra time. Both semi-finals going into extra time. Marshall getting the equaliser in the 76th minute. Bruce's head. Gibson's foot. Over to Barrett, who's recovered from the knock. Ritchie. Showed too much. Nicked away by McClare. Useful for Wallace. Test of his pace, now test of his finish. And he's equal to both. The face of delight is lost in the crowd. A fine ball through. The finish as the goalkeeper came somewhat feet first was what was required. Burst through 2 defenders and Manchester United lead 3-2. Milligan. Yes, the space here for Marshall. And Palmer's far side. It's all square again. This is the stuff of schoolboy comics. Palmer. It was a fine ball from Milligan that put Marshall away, and Oldham have come back again. Marvellous stuff. Wallace. Phelan. Sun causing a few problems. Webb takes it away. Oh, they had two men over. McClare! Oh, and he blasted when he needed control. Two United to one Oldham, and then up came McClare into the last 2 minutes. Rather telegraphed the pass. Replay, if there is to be one, will be back here at Main Road on Wednesday evening. Holden with the cross, Marshall far post! It's round the back of the goal.
We've seen that move on a few occasions this season. Ricky Holden doesn't have to really get past his man, just gets the angle, whips it in, just a bit too far for Ian Marshall. Tried to loop the header back towards the far post, just couldn't quite get round it.
Hughes looks up to see where Robbins is, and it's beautifully dispossessed by Barlow. Hughes comes back in turn. What determination. Holden. The last cross, Marshall launches, but the ball was safely in the hands of Jim Leighton. Joe Royle looks down at his watch. I suppose it simply adds to the complications of Oldham's season for there to be a replay, because promotion is still their main target. Good try! Goodness me, how beautifully struck by Holden. And for a moment then, I think Joe Royle thought that might be the decider. Just curled away. Oldham at Wembley in the Littlewoods final, trying to get to Wembley in the FA Cup final, probably will be at Wembley in the promotion playoffs. But that task made more difficult by their exertions here this afternoon. Oldham once more, took two to stop him. It's United throw. Holden, Milligan seems to have such awareness. Marshall and Bruce. A long one down the middle. Ooh, and it falls for Barrett. Then Webb picks it up. Robbins far side with the header, beaten to it by Irwin. Long clearance must be. It's not. Why should one make any forecast after today? We should learn. Barlow. Joe Royle has one check of the watch, and they've got to do it all again. The two managers with their arms around each other. It's been sensational stuff. 3-3 the final outcome. A replay on Wednesday.
The two semi-finals have produced 13 goals, 13 different scorers, and still they couldn't go to print with the Wembley programme. 3 days later, they were all at Main Road again, players, officials, supporters. The first helping had been so good, everyone wanted to come back for seconds. Surely the standard couldn't be maintained through another game. Or could it?
And let's just check on the teams. I think Joe Royle could have picked his on Sunday night, but I asked him if there were any changes. He said simply, would you make any? His team played so well, proving for the doubters that they could play as well on grass as on plastic. Andy Ritchie will have an extra game under his belt, and that could be significant for them. And I wonder whether we see Rick Holden showing his true form rather earlier than he did on Sunday afternoon. So it means that the inclusion of Danny Wallace is the only change in Act 2 of the Main Road drama. His presence, though, causes a number of numerical changes in the Manchester United lineup. Paul Ince will wear number 2, Neil Webb, the shirt that he likes, number 8, and Wallace, the one that he likes, number 11. The man who stands down is Colin Gibson, who now joins Robbins on the substitutes bench. That came off the post. And United not looking too comfortable on the cover of the post. This is a promising break for them, though. Oh, it would have been if McClare hadn't turned his back on the ball. Webb. Good cover. Barrett. And so far, Andy Holden has taken Hughes more often than Barrett in these opening minutes.
I think Andy Holden likes to mark somebody, and of course when they're only playing one up like Hughes, it's probably better for Earl Barrett, who's so quick and speedy in the recovery, to be the spare man, and then he can fill in whichever gaps develop.
Here is Barrett, who for the record is not the fastest player in the Oldham squad. He's very much second best to Paul Warhurst, one of the two substitutes. Even so, Barrett is very quick. Marshall to Holden. Second touch was disappointing for him, but he's got a corner. That's the one from the corner that hit the post, and Leighton arrived well after that hit had taken place. And the cover on the post was really not very good. Holden. Out by McClare. Oh, and off the underside of the crossbar from Nick Henry. Unlucky Oldham. As soon as McClare headed that out, he looked with concern because the ball went straight to Henry, who struck it back. It came off the underside of the crossbar with the goalkeeper well beaten, and then bounced into Leighton's arms. Well played, Henry. And it's fast and at times fierce. This is Hughes. Well struck. But Holworth not to be moved from the near post. It went out for the corner. Webb. Barlow.
There was a good example there of the slightly more withdrawn role Webb's playing. Really, on Sunday he was playing much closer to Mark Hughes, whereas this evening he's playing right in midfield.
This is Andy Ritchie. Presence of Robson just sufficient. Here's Marshall. Good positioning by Jim Leighton. Hurt Marshall a bit. Steve Bruce would have been a little relieved. Ball curled away and he decided to cover the ground rather than go for the ball in the air. Marshall suddenly had some room. Wallace. Phelan starts to make the run. Rick Holden is with him. Phelan wins it, and Milligan. Fine clearance by the Oldham captain. That denied Brian Robson. Phelan certainly looked as though he would be second best for that ball, but Holden didn't keep his eyes on it. And Phelan got a foot round and Milligan saved his team. Robson. Redfern. Still Robson. Wallace. Robson just inside. Give it me back. He's screaming to be given it back. Wallace. Oh, it's going to go in. Yes, McClare. Brian McClare. Is that going to be another crucial goal in the FA Cup? Scored the winner in rounds 5 and 6. Brian Robson who started the move. Wallace, it got a little nick, and there was McClare all alone for as easy a goal as he will probably ever score. Unlucky deflection by Henry. Milligan is well forward, Pallister. Ince. Hughes made a good run. McClare is inside. Ince is down the middle. Number 2! So wanted to finish what he'd started. It got a little deflection, and that time the deflection counted for Oldham. It's a good strike, and it got deflected, and it's off the post. Milligan from Irwin's shot. It came off Webb, off Milligan, off the post. United survive, and Milligan forces Leighton to produce his best. Ritchie. Free kick is given against Bruce. Holding will take it, but not from there. Or indeed not until the substitution has been made. Indication from Gerald, you want to bring on the substitute? And Alec Ferguson declines. The free kick is taken. Irwin, it suddenly opened up in front of him. Irwin again. Milligan. Holden. Appeal for handball. Not given. Holden's cross, it's a bit short. And it runs to Ritchie! Andy Ritchie! The man who began his career as a teenager at Old Trafford has beaten Jim Leighton, and again in this quite remarkable FA Cup semi-final. It is all square. It was deflected across by Webb and thumped home by Andy Ritchie. And Manchester United looking for their 11th appearance in the final. Oldham striving to be the first second division side since Queen's Park Rangers in 1982. Here's Michael Phelan. Queuing up in the middle, out by Barrett, only to Ince. Oh, what a strike! What a strike! And it came back off the post. Goodness me. That was a marvellous strike from a totally two-footed player. Good heavens. It was almost up to Hallworth before he started to move for it. We've had 10 minutes of the first 15 of extra time. Still 1-1. The goals in 51 minutes and 81 minutes. First McClare for United, then Ritchie for Oldham Athletic. Lee Martin comes off. The pacey Mike Robbins comes on. Keeping up a sequence for him. 4 matches on the trot in which he's been used as a substitute. Played the last 15 minutes on Sunday. It's got a bit longer this time. Sudden increase in impetus again. Phelan. Robbins! Yes! What a remarkable record this young man has got. His 3rd goal in the FA Cup. And again, Alec Ferguson's side is within touching distance of Wembley. Took 2 touches, and then it was a direct hit rather than a hit shot. Scored against Nottingham Forest, scored up at Newcastle, scores against Oldham Athletic. Crescendo of whistles. It's been a marvellous semi-final ever since 3:30 on Sunday afternoon. And we're now past 10 o'clock, 10:05 on Wednesday evening, and still not yet all over. Palmer! It's too much for them to bear. But one or two Oldham heads went at that moment. They may feel that that was the last chance. And I think they could be right. Oldham fear it will be all over. Manchester United are at Wembley. The winning goal scored by a man, Mark Robbins, who may wonder whether he will have a place in the final itself. But he's taken Manchester United to the FA Cup final and ended Oldham Athletic's dream of going to Wembley in 2 finals. But how well Joe Royal's side have played. 2-1 to United.
Although Manchester United had not touched base once, the next best place to home would be Wembley. The name was already emblazoned on their battle honours from the time of their first visit in 1948.
Charlie Midden, number 11, starts off United's winning attack. And from Rowley's pass, Stan Pearson scores the goal that gives Manchester the cup.
Coming in with power. Low. He's got it.
On by Macari. Smith slips slightly. Jay Green up. Robson. Whiteside shoots.
By the time United left for their cup final headquarters, they'd ended their league programme on a reasonably positive note. They didn't have a lot to spare, but enough for Alex Ferguson to relax before the last big challenge.
It's the most important event in my life, really, because it's such a great club, United. It deserves the kind of success that, it's a tomorrow can bring. And the supporters are down there, and it's been a disappointing season. And you may find it strange, people in Scotland may find it strange.
Because you won so much with Aberdeen, didn't you?
Correct. And it's not insulting anyway, it's just that these are memories now, lovely memories, but tomorrow is the biggest event of my life.
And just listen to this. Crystal Palace, who's played in all the divisions of the Football League. This is their finest hour, really, in the public eye. Only 14,000 of their supporters actually got tickets, but both of these clubs have quite a following in other countries as well. And a nice moment as Steve Coppell, a former Manchester United Cup finalist on 3 occasions, talks to his opposite number. They're great friends away from the tension of this occasion, the two managers. And as they stride across this quite perfect surface, the team's already entering into the mood of the day. It's buoyant, it's optimistic, it's good-natured, and we all hope it stays that way.
Crystal Palace decided that the place for Ian Wright, still recovering from injury, was on the bench. In fact, the lineup surprised no one. Manchester United stayed with the side they chose for the semi-final replay, built round Brian Robson and Neil Webb, who'd both missed so much of the early cup campaign.
Bright again moving right out to the touchline, taking defenders with him. Gray. And still, well, he was flattened the second time. Danny Wallace. Thorne, O'Reilly's in there, and was it over the line? And it's a goal! Gary O'Reilly, after 19 minutes, it was in the net before Steve Bruce could get his foot to it. And Crystal Palace, the underdogs, have taken the lead in precisely the way many people expected. The free kick, I think it was bent in by Barber there. Whether that came off Pallister's head as well, I'm not quite sure. O'Reilly's taken the congratulations. It was bent in by Gray. And was that Pallister or O'Reilly? Anyway, Bruce couldn't keep it out, and Palace are in front. Pallister, they want it played in. Hughes is waiting too. But Palace's defensive play at the moment is sound, it's compact. And if Gray hadn't been impeded, they would have been away there, but this is Martin. Referee saw nothing wrong. Ince. That's a good-looking ball from McClare. Wallace comes near post. Wallace. McClare. Robson! Goal! Brian Robson equalises for Manchester United after 35 minutes, and Captain Marvel is there again. Now, good play here. Danny Wallace just worked the ball out wide. The cross was delivered long to the far post, and Brian rolls a deflection off a defender as well there. It's one each, and as Robson gets the header in, that's John Pemberton, I think, was it? Or maybe the man in front of him that just diverted it to make it 1-1. Webb. Palace dwelling. Wallace. A ricochet. Hughes! 2-1 to Manchester United. And a devastating finish by Mark Hughes. And I have to say the Palace defence were pussyfooting around a bit there, really. They had their chance to clear. Thorne didn't do so. And when it came to Hughes' left foot, that was a deadly goal scorer's instinct. Wallace. Webb. Three in the centre. Hughes! Oh, how did they get that out? Andy Thorne, I think. Miraculously from McClare. Now here's Wright, his first chance to show what he can do. And he's through. It's Wright. Oh, what an impact by the substitute. It's 2-2. And it's Ian Wright who has sent the Palace supporters into ecstasy. The ball played through to him in not the best position, I have to say, but look what he made of this. He turned the defender beautifully and slid it wide of Jim Leighton, and that was in the 73rd minute, and it was just 3 minutes after Ian Wright had come on. And what a lovely individual goal. McClare. Webb. Robson! Good save by Martin. Webb. O'Reilly. Salako, who's playing further forward now that Shaw is in an orthodox left-back position here. In fact, Salako is playing wide on the left in Barber's old position. Phelan is challenging him. Right! Goal! It's Ian Wright again! Palace are in front at 3-2. And Steve Coppell has made... No, he's made one of the great substitutions, and And the Palace players have been called back by the referee. It's a goal, all right, but they've been called back from celebrating. Don't let me take it away from Ian Wright. What a good finish, but it was interesting there. In the light of current crowd control, Alan Gunn ran behind the goal and pulled them all back from the crowd. It's 3-2 to Crystal Palace. Ian Wright has scored his second in the 92nd minute, and as last year, we have a substitute who's come on and scored 2 goals. Webb, Wallace, and Robson's got a great run on here. Pemberton got to him just in time. This is Hughes. The danger's not over yet. Ince. Good effort! Oh, fine save by Nigel Martin. Well, when he was called upon there, he was right in line. It's a good shot, this, by Ince, and a good tip over. Robson. Webb to Wallace. Hughes goes through the middle, chance here for 3-3. Mark Hughes! He scores his second of the game, and Manchester United have saved themselves. The ball just chucked through by Danny Wallace, and the central defenders gave him too much space. O'Reilly wasn't close enough, and Hughes steered it past Martin. And so what Ian Wright has done for Palace, Mark Hughes has done for Manchester United. He's scored twice, and with just 7 minutes of extra time to go, the score is 3-3.
And that's how it ended. 2 goals for Ian Wright, 2 goals for Mark Hughes, 2 hours of tension and drama, still no FA Cup winner. When they returned 4 days later, there was one new face. Les Seeley, on loan from Luton Town, would keep goal for Manchester United. Jim Leighton was dropped.
Now there's danger here. Jeff Thomas and Alan Pardew and Andy Gray gathered round the ball. Gray would love a strike. 20 minutes gone and he's placing it. This is all part of the ploy by Crystal Palace to delay the free kick being taken. And it's Gray! Oh, saved by Seeley's legs! That's a good stop. It may even be a brilliant stop. There's a foul anyway. Ince having to hurdle another tackle. And now McClare, he's into the centre much more than in the second half. You know, he's moved in from the right-hand side, Brian McClare, and he's having some good play and some good touches. This is Wallace. Webb. Lee Martin from left-back, an inspired run on the far side. A chance here, and a goal! What a tremendous run! And Manchester United have taken the lead, and Lee Martin made a run from left back that was, 40, 50 yards, took it on his chest and smashed it with his right foot past Nigel Martin, and after an hour's play, Manchester United are in front in the cup final because Andy Gray couldn't get to him, and it's the roof of the net. Manchester United have won the FA Cup and equalled the record of 7 outright wins. Palace slumped to the ground. Manchester United celebrate Alex Ferguson's first major trophy at Old Trafford, thanks to a goal by a home-produced player. He spent £13 million, and the man who got the goal didn't cost a penny. The England captain outstanding. And Manchester United have the time to console unhappy Palace players who've given so much on Saturday, but Steve Coppell's team finally made to look second best as the Manchester United supporters salute a most unlikely man with a Cup Winners' Medal, Les Sealey. Who would have believed this a week ago? He came in place of Jim Leighton and did everything that was asked of him. And an on-loan goalkeeper facing a free transfer has won an FA Cup Winners' Medal. And just look at that man's face. The years seem to have fallen away there from Alex Ferguson after a season of torment and tribulation. He embraces his players.
It's been smashing for the manager and also for some of the new lads to the club. We've took a lot of criticism this season, and it's just smashing for them to win something at the end of the day.
They've played three up front and I've been marking Andy Gray. So basically I was put to mark him for the game, and I just saw the space and ran into it, and it paid off.
It's fair to say that as well as being delighted, you're surprised.
Very surprised, very surprised.